So the Chinese dragons, this is what they looked like. Okay, they were these long snake-like things. Now here's her or his eye, its horn thing, or the whisker thing. No, we don't want that. All right, so the little whiskers up there, we got the whisker right here. This is the tongue that's sticking out right here, facing to the left. The whole body goes back and wraps around. So it's kind of wrapped up in here. And if you go and look closely at the mountains kind of overlap each other. It's kind of weird. And here is where the belly would be. So the belly you can see is burst. Right here. Now this isn't a good one right here. This is not. So a lot of these things, they have these, well, I guess it is kind of, they have these fan tails. These dragons. And its head is here, looking to the left, this way over here. Its tail is right down here, and its like tail goes all the way out here. It's all this. See, it kind of like swirls. It's got this weird swirling pattern. Now this is actually the Himalayan mountains. And it kind of makes sense. So the word Himalayan, right? Let's look at it from like a non-English understanding. So the English people, they probably arrived down here somewhere, and they asked the little dot heads. They're like, "Hey, how did these mountains get here?" And they tell them the story, and they sum it all up, and they say that Himalayan, because the story I think is something about Pangu. Apparently, this dragon roamed around and then laid down and died. And Pangu's body formed the mountains, the Himalayan mountains. So how the mountains got there is basically Pangu laid down and died. So Himalayan.
There's also a story of, you're talking about Uluru before. There's other mountains like that are icebergs, just big rocks. And I'm not going to tell you which one exactly because I don't want to give the location away, but I want to preserve the petroglyphs there. But yeah, in Western Australia, there's it's the Aboriginal story for it is that it's a young boy, or was a young man, was going for initiation, and he was I don't know, he was dishonourable in some way, and then he was running away, and so they've speared him as he's running away, and it's the rock is meant to be this bloke laying on his side with a spear in it.
Is that what it looks like? Does it look like someone laying on their side with a spear in them?
I think from a certain angle, you've got to look at a certain angle, but yeah.
I mean, it very well could be. See, that's the thing. A lot of these,
That's what it's called.
a lot of these stories that they tell us are just like legends or myth seem to be true. Let's see. I can show you. I'm pretty sure.
Stuff like Nescalant.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what all that is. Okay, now if you have you seen the guy? Was it My Lunchbox or My Lunch Break? Right? Is that his name? He says that there's actually a dragon here, but I actually think this is some kind of crab or some kind of shellfish. So he thinks that this right here is the head. But to me, it looks like this down here, this bottom part is actually the bottom part of like a crab claw. Let's see. Yeah, see, so over here would be like the hinge part. This is the bottom. You can actually see the teeth in there. And then at the top, I think this is probably one large tooth thing right here. So that's the whole claw right there. And the rest of his body is, I don't know, so like kind of splayed out. He's like all the red. I think this might be his eyes right here, down here, or up here. Maybe right here. Not really sure. Yeah, see, it's really hard to tell because it's creatures on top of creatures. It's not just one thing. So it's like, so Quetzalcoatl here, I mean, he died. You see his head is on top of, there was something else here previously. So, I mean, it makes sense though that everything comes from living beings, because the Bible tells us that there's waters above and waters below. So that would lead one to the understanding that there's infinite waters, essentially.
Because we follow whatever you do, yeah. So we need to get slapped militarily for us to wake up. I think that's.
You ever seen suspended loop? You ever seen Al Gore dancing to the rhythm, the algorithm?
Came with their wagons, couldn't have possibly built those structures, and I kind of agree with that, bro. Now, as far as the buildings being there already, and I don't buy that one. Like I said, the North American Indians would have had something. They would have known about that, right? There's no way that there was mansions there and that the North American Indians just passed by them without even, oh, it's just a building. I'm going to keep hunting this buffalo. No.
Well,
So
what are the most
North America? I don't buy it.
So you have Native American tribes that still exist today. They didn't all get completely wiped out. They just kind of assimilated. They got their reservations. You can go talk to them, bro. If this Tartarian Empire was legitimate, bro, you would have oral traditions passed down. We have the Cherokee. We have the Cherokee. We have the what's the other big one? The Navajo.
We have Apaches. We have Sioux. We have
the Nipmuc. In Canada, you have a whole bunch of Native Americans, dude. None of them talk about any. There's no oral tradition of ether technology and I don't know, dude. I don't know what these Tartarian guys think of, but you won't find any of that in any Native American literature. And I have books, Native American books, from a chief himself, Joseph Riverwind, whose wife is a Cherokee. None of them talk about any oral tradition passed on from the elders talking about this ancient civilization that was just here a couple hundred years ago.
Oh, I can drive 10 minutes and go to the Mohawk Reservation. It's just off Montreal, right here. They have their own police. They have their own. There's no mention at all of any of this stuff, bro. These people are still here. They're still proud. There's no mention of no Tartaria.
Oh, the Hopi, another one. Huge prophecy, huge oral tradition. Never, they talk about the ant people that came on the ground, right? They don't talk about no ether tech. They don't talk about these,
Right.
these no, none of that shit exists, dude. That's all made up bullshit from the recent, from YouTube algorithm promoting that shit.
Yeah,
There's no ecclesiastical history, bro, of any of this technology. You have thousands and thousands, like the papacy is filled with, the Vatican Library, bro. And there's people that have investigated this stuff, dude. There's none of that, bro. You won't find any mention of any of this.
Yeah, it's just made up history, bro. That's it.
All I'm saying is I don't know about any like thing you're about the Tartarian or whatever. I don't put no name on it. I'm just saying like the infrastructure they had that supposedly they built before power tools and stuff. They may have had something that gave them free energy, healing energy. They may have communicated on a whole different wavelength than us. I don't know. I'm just saying from what I've seen, they can't rebuild these buildings the way they are, the way they built them. They cannot rebuild them like that nowadays with the tools they have. So all I'm saying is, how do we know that they weren't better off back then than we are now? Maybe it was more advanced. I don't know. I wouldn't know, and I'm just judging by what I've seen. Not calling, not naming Tartarian or anything like that. I'm just going by what my eyes have seen.
You can build a case that a couple hundred years ago, people had a better quality of life for sure, man. It was, the Renaissance was beautiful, right? Beautiful architecture.
No, you can't build a case that they had a better life. No way, bro. No way. They had to wash their clothes by hand. They had to fetch water. They had to cut wood. There's no chance in that happening. Maybe they had a better quality of life, like being in the country and not being stressed, but quality of life, no chance. We are the top in the top civilization. No evidence of any civilization being more advanced than us in that aspect. Not even a slightest bit. Okay, pyramid building, right? I'll give you that. But as far as quality of life, your garbage being picked up every day, your streets being clean, your doctor, your running water, sewer system, no chance. We are kings in that aspect. You have the same quality of life as a king in the past had, like in the 1700s. You live better now than a king did then. You had more luxuries, let's put it that way. They were showing here, I'll give you an example. They were showing a homestead, right? To have the stuff we have now, like clothes, running water. They had a whole army of servants in their house. There was they had 30 people to do the jobs that one housewife can do now. They had 30 people.
And in the future, they won't need any people to do those things because they'll have artificial intelligence and robots to do all that stuff. So is that really a better quality of life? It's going to get to the point where all the brick and mortar things that people depend on for their income is going to be gone. And then to make it a simpler way of life for us. But really, is that going to really be? Because every action has a reaction. 26,000 people get displaced from their home after the fire insurance is canceled a month before. They have nowhere to live. That shit trickles to where I live in Santa Barbara, Ventura, down south. It's a trickle. Now all of a sudden the rents are going up. There's price gouging. You know what I mean? And they're gonna put more and more people inside these little tiny boxes, tiny home, whatever, 15-minute city, and that's the future from right now. So, one maybe like 20 years from now, somebody will be like, it's so easy. We could just go to the store. We don't even have to wait in line. We get what we want, and it just reads our chip on our right hand when we walk out of the store. Those people back in the 2024, 25, they had a shitty life. We're living like kings now because we got microchipped. We don't have to wait in line. You don't have to worry about somebody robbing you for your fiat. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Is I think it's just all perspective. I'm just saying that.
Well, yeah, different problems, but these are first world problems we're talking about now, right? Back in the day, just to wash your clothes was a chore, bro. That's all I'm
I
saying.
mean, that's what they'd lead us to believe, but I don't know. I don't even. What if their clothes were made of like a material that we don't even have nowadays? What if they didn't even wear clothes back then, bro? Who knows? You know what I mean? I just know we've been thoroughly lied to, and our past has been erased, bro. So I just don't discredit
do
any.
the who knows. We can do the who knows thing and invent clothes that wash themselves, or we can. We should just be happy of what we got, man. Like what? Don't get me wrong, right? We are being usurped. We are being, cheapized by our people. But I'm saying the quality of life, right, that we have now compared to what they had back then, there's just no competition. Like you had to walk to a creek to get water, bro. You understand? You had to go chop wood to have fire. Now I just press a button when I wake up on my thermostat, bro.
What about
Nobody has
going?
had it that
What
good.
about
What if they got pure water from the ground back then with just a copper rod, and they could drill on their own property and get a well going without ramifications from builder codes and inspectors, and like they didn't have fluoride in their water back then, so I don't know if it was a better quality of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about this, right? Imagine hiking down a steep grade to go down to the river to carry potable water back up to your family consistently. And then if you want to wash your clothes, you have to go down to the river, wash your clothes by hand, and then go back up with. That's what my grandma used to do, bro. My grandma in PR, that's what she used to do, bro. And that's all you
Abandoned.
have to do is become a farmer, bro, and realize how hard it is being a farmer. You have to literally wake up early. You have to tend to the animals, pick up the manure, you know, tend to the chickens, whatever, bro. It's tough work, man. Back then, you couldn't get away with being a what's it called, a sloth.
So you think it's a better way of life now that we can be more slacking and slothfulness and not have to do as much? You think it's a
I'm
better
not.
way?
I'm not saying, like you said, it's perspective, but at the same time, the fact that you can be a sloth, right, and not do anything and just play PlayStation for your whole childhood, and even maybe in your whole 20s, bro. Most men nowadays don't start work till their 20s, bro. 25, maybe they'll start working. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where we're at, dude. And then daddy government, it's different, bro.
You think we have it's a better way of life now then?
It's
It's
easier. Put it
it's
that way. It's
easier,
easier.
Yeah, I believe it probably is easier. You know what I mean? In a way,
easier.
I mean, I can't call it. I just know that I mean, imagine a point in life where like everybody knew the earth was flat. It's been handed down from their ancestors. And the only way you're going to convince a whole country of people that we live on a cartoon spinning ball is you cut them off from their forefathers and you take them somewhere new, you know?
Bro, just try to remember the last time you had a power failure, right?
Yeah.
Just try to remember it. Didn't your whole world go down like when the power goes down, right? Aren't you completely lost? I'm still walking around the house. I know there's no power and I'm turning on light switches, right?
I mean, I have
You
a
know what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
I have a lot of candles and stuff, bro. I prefer candles over light. I usually just light candles anyways. So,
Yeah, go a month without power, bro. Come talk to me.
with the what?
Go 1 month without power and then we'll talk.
I mean, I've lived in houses for months without power or water. It's not, I mean, it's not like the end of the world, you know?
Yeah, you've been homeless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to you before, bro. I don't know if you remember, but we've had long
Yeah.
conversations. I remember when you were homeless.
Yeah, and like I've been to the joint. I did a couple years on Cal Fire with a fire crew, inmate fire crew. I fought like wildfires and stuff like that. You know,
You know, Bear Pelagic spoke highly of you.
I love that dude, man. He's so cool.
He said that you called him or he called you. I don't know the other day, and he was happy to talk to you
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
because
I
you were
used
in
to like
jail.
yeah, I was. I got locked up, dude. I was locked up, and I just got out like two like 2 months ago. I work right now. I'm working at a homeless shelter. I get 21 bucks an hour, and basically we're just babysitting these people, and they basically can do whatever they want. Like pretty much, we're just there to make sure that they're not like overdosed or like beating the crap out of each
Frolicking.
other. Yeah, it's it's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting.
Hey, they're having homeless kids. They're
Huh?
having homeless babies in the shelter, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's freaking sad to see uh, a whole civilization go down before your eyes, bro. Freaking sad. I never thought I'd see the day, but here we are.
Hey, didn't you used to skate too, bro?
Yeah, I used to skate barefoot, bro.
You're nuts.
I would practice trying to get my feet ready, like by in
Lion,
the train. There's
his
like
mum worked
rocks.
for Powell Peralta, dude. That's what you told me when it was Flatterday. Your mum worked for
How
Powell?
did
Yeah,
it
bro.
what?
Didn't your mum work
What?
for Powell Peralta in Santa Barbara?
You remember me telling you that? Yeah, she's worked for Pal Peralta in Santa Barbara when it was on Gutierrez Street, bro, back in the '80s, dog.
Yeah,
When
bro.
the Bones first
Damn,
started.
how
You
old
remember
are you, bro?
46?
Oh shoot, dude. I honestly, man, I thought you were like my age. I mean, not that you're older than that, but you
Yeah.
sound like you're like 30s, maybe.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I didn't think you were that old.
Yeah. I don't feel that old, but I guess I am
You're about to be
by
50 in 4 years, dude. You're getting up
yeah.
there, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really look at it like that. Like, I think people used to live a lot longer, so I go barefoot most like pretty much like 80% of the time I'm barefoot. Well, now that I have a job, maybe not 80%, but basically whenever I'm not at work, I try to go barefoot everywhere. And I really believe that it's helped my health out a lot. So anybody who's listening, I highly suggest try to go barefoot as much as possible. Add years to your
Especially
life.
if you got, especially if you got foot diseases. If you got tinea, it'll
If what?
clear it right up. Like if you
What
got
will?
tinea, like between your toes, go barefoot. Just walking in the dirt.
Yeah, yeah. It feels so good.
What is that between your foot? What are you talking about? A fungus?
Yeah, like athlete's foot, like
It goes
tinea.
away if you walk barefoot?
Yeah, it's like that.
I didn't know that. No, I don't have it. Anyways, I don't have that. But I was just wondering.
Oh, a lot of people do. I mean, from like work shoes, like company showers and stuff. Yeah.
How do
Have
you
you
get
guys
that? The
have
fungus
you
on your
seen
toes?
that movie? It's called Earthing. It's on YouTube. You should check it out.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't,
But yeah,
from
how do you
wearing
get
from
fungus on
wearing
your
work
teeth? I
boots
mean,
all
on
the
your.
time. Me too. No, from wearing work boots all the time and showering in like uh mining accommodation. Like other people are using the shower a lot. I don't know, just
I don't know. I don't
easy
think
to
that's it.
get.
I think there's something else going on, bro, because I don't know how. Yeah, I think it's internal. You don't just get fungus underneath your toenail because you walked around in the shower barefoot. That's some bullshit.
No, between your toes. You know that? It's like it's all like crusty in your like pinky toe.
When I was in jail, people were trying to tell me I couldn't go barefoot and shit. I'm like, dude, don't even trip. Like, I'll take the beating or whatever you got. you. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm doing. You know?
Who, the cops?
No, the other inmates.
No, no. They're telling you to put your shoes on because they want to fight.
You wear socks at least, dude?
I mean, I wear socks when I wear shoes at work, but other than that, I just go barefoot.
You don't wear socks either, dude?
No, I wear
So you
socks
just
when
walk around jail without socks? That cold ass floor?
yeah. Because at least I'm getting some type of grounding barefoot, you know? In jail now, they give everybody tablets, and there's like gnarly Wi-Fi just streaming all the time. So it's like you're bombarded with like fucking like 30, 40 tablets a day. You're like right around them, you know what I mean? And I've seen people in their feet, their ankles get all swollen. It's like crazy, dude. And it's from that EMF. Right here where I live in Southern California, they're turning this place into a smart city. I don't know about where y'all live, but if it can't be a smart
Every,
city, 30 they're gonna Mountain Dew it.
yeah, everywhere is they're trying to make shit expensive. Confine everybody to smaller spaces.
You know,
Public
one good.
transport.
Where are you located right now? Were you near the fires?
Yeah, I'm in Santa Barbara, which is it goes Santa Barbara County, Ventura County along the coast, and then you get to Malibu in LA.
What
But I
else?
was
What about? Wasn't there another fire that started in Diego recently? Like yesterday,
yeah,
the other day?
so many fires going on. I was in a big fire in the Thomas fire back in was it 2017? Spilled over to 2018, and then I saw the Woolsey and the Hill fire in LA on November 18th of 2018. The same day the campfire started. Now trip on this. So the campfire was November 8th, 2018, and that's the day that Paradise burned down, right? Or
Mhm.
the day that Paradise was lost. Now, the dude who wrote the book Paradise or the play Paradise Lost, John Milton, died November 8th, 1674, the same day that Paradise burned.
Wow, that's a synchronicity.
Yeah.
What's the book about?
I actually haven't read it. I just know it's about like levels of like hell, I think. It's called Paradise Lost. It's like a
It's about the seven deadly sins, like that film Seven's based on.
Is it like Dante's Inferno? Another version? You know Dante's Inferno, right?
yeah. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think it's along those lines. You know,
It's a it's an Italian story, bro. They made a game out of it. The game is dope, dude. You ever played Dante's Inferno?
I
It's
don't
kind of like God of War.
I
When
don't
God
play.
of War 1 first came out. Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good, bro. I don't play video games anymore. I quit.
That's good, man. God bless you,
One day
bro.
I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I sold my gaming console and all the games I had for a dude who was he was like he would go and get crystals and rocks from like certain places, and he traded me like a couple bricks of shungite, like actual bricks of shungite, and some giant quartz crystals for my whole console. So I just traded them. I still have all the bricks of shungite too.
God bless you, bro. Yeah. I mean, I gave up video games too, right?
Yeah,
For like years, bro. I fasted from games for years, bro. And I recently, literally last year, got back into it. Literally last
yeah.
year. Since 2019, I stopped playing video games. Till
I
last
stopped
year, I
when I
started again.
started making chem busters, bro. And once I started making the chem busters and seeing how they work, it's like kind of addicting.
Guess the only game I play. Guess what it is?
Super Mario Brothers?
Nah, man. Yo,
I don't
you're
know.
gonna be. That's a good game. Nah, you're gonna be disappointed.
What?
Fortnite
Call
or
of Duty.
COD. Yeah.
Call of
Call of
Duty,
Booty?
bro.
Call of Booty call? No,
It's
I'm just
something
kidding.
about that algorithm, dude. I don't know what it is, bro. It's so addicting. It's like they figured out the perfect formula to captivate us and
You
keep
ever
us
seen
in
you ever seen
suspended
Al Gore
loop.
dancing? You ever seen Al Gore dancing to the rhythm, the algorithm?
What game, Lion, did you say that you play?
Warzone.
Warzone. Is that a RPG or what is it?
It's a tactical shooter, first person shooter.
First person. Yeah.
You got a team and you go in. It's like open arena, sandbox game, and then the last team alive wins.
Yeah, I hear that. Like a Quake type thing.
Yes, it's a first person shooter.
Yeah, I
Open
used to
box.
love
So
those. Yeah.
you drop in a world, you parachute into a world with a cityscape, and there's like 60 players, bro, and you got to survive. You and three other guys got to survive. Be the last one standing.
Yeah, those first person shooters are. Yeah, I definitely spent a few hours on those.
It's free. Warzone is free, so you don't have to pay for it. So that's one way they got me. Well, I'm not paying for it.
What
What
about the
about
kids who
strategy? Strategy games.
games, bro?
You ever get into
Imagine,
those strategy like?
imagine, bro, if your family you come from a great line of like like blacksmiths or like something like this really hard work that's like really like noble work, and um just basically like not a lot of people could do it. Something really that takes a lot of time and like knowledge and also strength. And then imagine like for generations your family was that, and then this generation like the kid grew up getting paid to watch people play video games and shit. Nah, I'm
Well,
just
that's
joking.
what happened to what you just said has happened to the West. Everything was an apprenticeship before. We talked about this a few times.
Like brick and mortar.
You would learn under an apprentice and you would be a master one day. Now it's all changed. Give your children away to strangers.
Bro, everything used to be brick and mortar. Now everything's Rick and Morty.
Yep, exactly. A complete reversal
Uh,
I see it,
from
man.
homeschooling.
I'm a boilermaker tradesman, and I go to these mine shutdowns, and just the quality of tradesmen. Like I remember when I was young, getting taught by the tradies I was around. Half of the shit that these people get up to, it's like I would have been fucking raked over the coals for, and just like half of them are immigrants, the other half are covered in tattoos, no fucking motivation about them. It's yeah.
Yeah, we've been our life has our civilization has been usurped. It's been taken over. It's been changed. Heck, we don't even know what gender is anymore. So if we don't get our stuff together, our civilization is gonna go like the Inca, the Maya, the Egyptians. Same thing.
people don't know what gender they are, but pretty soon they're all gonna know what Agenda 21 is or Agenda 30.
Yeah,
2030.
Essie,
yeah,
Essie doesn't even know what a woman is, dude. Essie.
yeah.
Oh my.
Exactly. I don't know what a woman is anymore. It's gotten so bad here that you guys heard of Peterson, the
Yeah,
philosopher
Jesse Lee
that talks.
Peterson. Oh no, you're talking about Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my country, Canada, saw fit to send them to retraining. They wanted to send them to a retraining center, believe it or not, because he didn't want to go with the woke agenda. He says, no, I will not do it. You can put me in jail. I will not refer to another person from like another sex type deal. And he almost lost everything. They wanted to
It's
re-educate him.
it's almost as bad as when they re-educated people who knew the true shape of the earth, and they're like, no, you can't refer to the earth as you witness it. You have to refer to it as a spinning ball. You know what I mean? It's almost like that, right?
Kind of like
They
that,
try to
I guess,
they
yeah.
try to brainwash you, break you down, indoctrinate you. retrain
I mean,
you.
like, people senses tell them we live on a non-rotating plane, but people that on a cartoon spinning ball not trust your senses, then why would it be so strange to be like, no, that person's not a girl, they're a guy, even though they don't have a penis? And people are just buying this shit and like going along with it, you know? It's the same thing as like being like, yeah, we live on a cartoon spinning ball, you know?
Well, they tried to push the agenda, right? Politically
Yeah.
correct, like the politically correctness bull, like hit a brick wall, and it was the man woman thing that did it. And I see a lot of people now pushing back on that, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
going to get squashed. Thank God.
Well, now that the new actor took his, because all the presidents do, bro, is like 4 years of like one thing and then like another 4 years of the same agenda, but then they'll be like, we have to spend the first year or two cleaning up the mess the other person did. You know? It's just kind of like it's kind of laughable, I think. You know what I mean? That,
But that's politics. I'm talking about people, like people accepting this or not, right? People are just not accepting it. It's that simple. The people are
yeah.
saying no. We're putting our foot down. No, a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and that's it. Stop teaching to our children. And I hope Trump, like, at least that's one thing I'll agree with him, and the border thing. So I hope he pulls through with that.
I just don't. I mean, honestly, bro, I think Trump, Biden, Kamala, whatever her name is, all these people are just actors. You know what I mean? They're just reading a script. That's what I think, bro. I don't think any of it's real. You know?
I agree.
Bro, you were saying something
I
about like
agree too.
you voted for Trump in 2020 or something.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Like, um, do you regret doing that?
I don't regret voting, but I will
Do you
never
think your
vote
vote
again.
counted? Do you think your vote? Do you
I'll,
think your vote counted?
no, no,
Do you think votes were ever counted ever in the history of voting?
maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Oh,
But I think that yeah, at some time in the past, voting was probably official. How do we know?
yeah. Me personally, I don't believe our votes were ever counted because it's like the customers at like a store aren't going to be able to vote on who the CEO is or the president of this corporation. So like they're selected, not you know what I mean. But if people think they have a choice, then they're more complacent. They're not going to put up as much of a fight. You know, that's what I think.
See what I just posted? 1,500 troops just deployed to the border. Maybe he's really going to do this. Let's see. Let's see. I have my fingers crossed. He said he
Oh,
was
he's
going to
doing it.
send troops. Yeah.
Don't forget to
They're
knock
already
on.
there, dude. I seen
Don't forget
videos
to
of
knock on.
Humvees already at the border, bro. Troops at the
Yeah.
border.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dude, I seen this video of these people in Antarctica, but that does not mean that there was a marathon there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
You think they can lie
What do you
about
think?
sending troops to the border?
I mean, they can lie about anything, bro. They can show us anything and make it look real. You know?
At the border?
Nah, yeah,
Seriously? With all the people there? Come on.
Yeah, bro.
yeah,
I mean,
but
because
there's
if we're not there to verify it, bro. You know what I mean? And
nah,
even if
bro.
we
But you
were,
can't be.
we're gonna be actors, bro.
You got to be careful with that type of thinking because that's auto hoax, right? That's like you're supposed to be from a perspective, an observational perspective. You're not supposed to be biased, already coming to conclusions because of prior. There is some reason to believe, right? To have trust issues with the government because of their track record. They have a horrible track record. We know
The source
they're
reporting
compulsive liars, right?
lied before. The source that's
But
reporting these.
at the same time, you got to understand, bro. Like, there's regular people at the border witnessing troops at the border, bro. Like regular people commenting. So is that all fake too?
I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, like there could be people dressed up as troops at the border. They could have even brought in people that were hired to be troops that think they're troops to the border. But the whole narrative of it is it's a false narrative, bro. You know what I mean? Just here,
No,
I'll
no,
give you
I get it, but there's a
an
logic.
example.
There's something illogical about this, right? And it's known as like appeal to possibility. Like, yeah, you can scheme up and conceive of a plethora, dude, of scenarios that could play out in your mind. But yeah, just because you're appealing to a possibility doesn't justify your reasoning. You get what I'm saying? Like, you keep appealing to a possibility as justification for your reasoning, but it's not
I don't
reasonable.
believe anything that the any reporting news source is telling us, you know, because they've been known to lie before. You know? It's like fruit of the poison tree.
I'm not even talking about the news, bro. I'm talking about regular people that are recording on their phone and right of Humvees at the border, and they're
I've
going up
seen
to the soldiers, asking the soldier, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And the soldier tells the girl like, "Oh, I'm here to defend the border. Come send us out here." Like, I'll send you the video, dude.
I mean, okay, there could be thousands of troops at the border to quote unquote defend the border, and but it's like that. It's all for show. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not an imminent threat instantly to the border. I mean, like, how hypocritical is that? The president sending all these troops to guard the border while at the same time being complicit and knowing about the Mountain Dews where they're vaporizing thousands of structures, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're
Respectfully, imagine this, right? Imagine being uh abused to the point where now you're damaged psychologically, where now you've developed trust issues. It's like a battered wife or a battered woman or a dog that's been abused, right? You have to kind of you have to rehabilitate that dog, bro, because they get the new owners. Even though the new owners are good owners, bro, because of their trauma, they don't trust anybody. And a lot of these flat earthers are like that because they've been lied to, right? They've been manipulated by the media, by the government. Now they develop this auto hoax, right, condition. They've developed these trust issues where now it's like they're damaged, bro, mentally, psychologically, where they think everything's like a psyop, dude. And in order to fix that, you had to rehabilitate the person and show that you, dude.
auto hoax. I like that word, auto hoax. Well, it's people are guilty of being liars until proven innocent, bro. That's the way I see it. I mean, like, if something's logical and simple, then it's believable until it's proven not to be, you know. But as far as like anything that has to do with the government, bro, I just don't trust it. Like you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
That's not what
Like,
I know, but I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about like actually not believing that there's troops at the borders, even though there's like, and this is just a hypothetical scenario. I'm not saying that you don't believe
yeah.
this, but I'm saying imagine a person that just doesn't believe anything anybody talks about, or anybody, like, if there's TikTok videos of troops at the border, if there's YouTube videos, if there's friends talking about they've seen this, you know what I mean? Like, unless they see it for themselves, bro, like their standard of evidence is so rigid and so strict, right? That unless they've done the experiment themselves, right, in the lab, or observed observed it themselves, they're not gonna take it. They're not gonna accept it because that's how much of an empiricist they are, materialists, that they have to be there themselves. Like, unless they've been to Australia, they're not going to believe Australia exists, basically. Like that, it depends on the scale, how rigid your standard of evidence.
Whether I believe that Australia existed or not I, it wouldn't be like I mean, I believe that there's a place called Australia until proven otherwise, you know? Only because I've been conditioned to that by looking at hundreds of maps over the years and everything, you know? But I mean, as far as like the troops at the border and stuff, there could be people dressed up as troops. There could even be people that were hired to be troops and work for the government and they get a paycheck for being a troop. I'm just saying that it's not what they say it is, you know? It could all be for just a press shoot, bro, you know, or to pump fear into people or a distraction. You know what I mean? They could be falling off from the Mountain Dews that they were letting off in LA and San Diego. It could be all types of different things. I mean, it could be a like type of ritualistic thing they're doing. Who knows? I mean, I just don't think the narrative of what they're saying is true about like they're bringing them there because they need them at the border or whatever. Whatever it is, it's not what they say.
Do you think Witsit went to
So you
Antarctica,
don't
bro?
believe that your border, the South, has a problem? Like 20 million illegals have come in your country more or less in the past 10, 15 years.
I'll tell you, hey, bro. I'll tell
You
you
don't
this much
believe
about.
there's coyotes where people pay them to smuggle them. You think all that is all a lie.
No, I don't. I don't think that's a lie, bro. I don't think that's a lie. I think that anything that they report on, for the most part, they need to control the narrative of the story. That's why you'll never see an actual parent who just lost their kid being interviewed on the news, because that's the most uncontrollable type of person on this earth, is like a parent who lost their kid. They would never put them on the news for an interview. Instead, they would have a crisis actor pretending they lost a kid so they can dictate the narrative of the story. You know, the news isn't going to just be put some shit on where they're like, I hope this goes good. Like, they're putting shit on that they know how the narrative is going to end. You know what I mean? I mean, every once in a while, some what I call organic events may slip through, and they get very little coverage. You know, like I've known plenty of people who've been shot and killed in my neighborhood, and they don't even get on the news. You know, but then like somebody goes in a bar and shoots up a bar or like a school, and like all of a sudden the crisis actors are coming out the woodwork. And yes, actual police who've been hired as police officers arrive on the scene, and they intermingle organically with the inorganic actors. You know what I mean? So the whole so, but what I'm saying is, like, if you pollute a truth with even a little bit of a lie, the whole thing gets muddied, you know? So it's not what they say it is. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I hear that for sure. They're manipulated. So, thing is,
Yeah.
though, how do you separate like reality from their charade? Let's say, or
Um,
can you? Can you?
Me personally, I can, especially when I'm more in tune with my body and like what they say. You know, they say like that rings true. Well, I believe that truth rings a certain like a certain type of circadian rhythm in our body that's natural and organic, as opposed to like when somebody lies. And if you are paying attention and in tune with your body and like and in tune with everything, you will be able to pick it up if it's a lie. You know, that's the way I see it.
Well, look, the way I see it is this, right? I hear what you're saying, but with today's technology, right, it's a double-edged sword, right? They can spy on us, but in turn, it's like Star Trek, bro. We each got our own camp. You know, the when Captain Kirk used to flip that thing, we each
Yeah.
got one of those, bro. And there's a camera on it, and we're able to broadcast live from anywhere in the world, right? That's never happened before. So their ability to control the narrative is getting smaller and smaller, right?
I agree with that in a certain sense, but I think like this is what they do. They grab our hands and then they punch us with their own hand and tell us to quit hitting ourselves. So like they wait, hold on real quick. They basically push all this fear into people, saying like, oh, your devices are spying on you, da 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 da, get all this extra security. And people are, you know, jumping through hoops for this extra security for all this planned obsolescence smart products, right? But really the thing is that it's just by having the device and using its frequency, we're clotting up our blood, we're destroying our eyes, and we're taking like time off of our life by being close to this EMF. So I don't think it's really the spying and the invasion of privacy that is harmful to us. I think the EMF is way more harmful. You know, so it's like a facade, basically. You know, it's like squirting a squirt gun in the ocean. If that makes any sense.
Well, look, you can make a conspiracy and a threat out of everything, right? But I don't know. My only thing is you gotta prioritize, right? Like what's the number one threat? I guess because if you start going down that road, like everything's a conspiracy. I mean, it's not gonna be good for you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, would you rather think something is true when it's not, or something is true and you don't believe it? Like
Yeah, but you
what
gotta
car?
like for example, like this border thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna start to think that all that is fake, like everything you see is fake, right? Then it becomes problematic, I think, right?
I mean, I don't know how it could really be problematic, but like, I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying that there's many different scenarios it could be, but I do believe in my heart that it's not what the narrative is not what they tell us. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so let's take the border thing, for example, right? What do you think is going on there?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it until you mention it right now. I mean, I'm not gonna really give it too much thought. Um, I don't know what they're doing. I just know that whatever they're doing on this side of the border has to do with either a land grab, putting in the 5G infrastructure, getting basically all the infrastructure where I live. There's been more infrastructure tearing up the roads and tearing down places and burning places than I've ever seen. And I know it's so they can have the infrastructure in place to make it a cashless society. Because for a cashless society, you need zero latency so it doesn't bottleneck up in places, so people can go seamlessly from one place to another while getting their products. Well, just it scans their chip, zero latency. And so if you live in an area where it's too hard, um, it's too hard of terrain to put in this new infrastructure and these cables, then basically that area is going to get flooded or burned or earthquaked. I mean, some they're going to do something to it, and they're going to take over that land, and they're doing it quickly. Like they're on a time schedule, you know. I'm just saying. I think we're getting close to the cashless society, and what's going to happen is people think that the crypto is like it's like an autonomous and like it's the best thing that since sliced bread or whatever. You know what I mean? But once everything goes cashless, people are still going to own Bitcoin, but all the shops everywhere, wherever you go, is all going to have an automated system that's going to be, uh, it's going to be cryptocurrency, but a cryptocurrency from the government. And Bitcoin, you won't be able to spend it anywhere. So I think that's what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Well, now, yeah, well, I guess we're changing subjects now, but
I was just saying that's what I see the big picture as. So whatever they're doing or whatever, if they're troops at the border or whatever, I think it all has to do with their agenda, you know? And it's like, I don't think they really care about people like illegals coming into this country like that, you know. I think that it's just like whatever agenda they're pushing or whatever facade or ritual or distraction or fear, whatever it is, like that, just mass people believing it, they've accomplished their mission, because if all those people believe it and it puts some type of like either fear or just like it dulls their senses because they've seen like it so many times, like aliens in the movie so many times, that like when it happens people won't really like respond aggressively or like skeptically, they'll just accept it basically. That's how I see it. So if they're showing people all kinds of troops at the border, then they're basically I mean I could speculate all day, I just don't believe it's organically what they say it is, you know? That's all I'm saying.
I hear you, bro. Yeah, look, we don't know what their master plan is or whatever, if you want to go that route, but I'm talking about like the border now, for example. Do you think that your country should have control of its border, or should it be like open policy? Anybody could come in.
Um, Me personally, I don't care at all. Like, I wouldn't care if they, I mean, I don't think that I don't think there should be borders personally, but like, whatever they do, I don't think one way or the other, because I'm in my mind, I'm like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, you know. There's only so many things I could like worry about that affect me. And so I live a pretty simple life as far as like um you know, bare feet, and like I don't need like processed food really, or just like a lot of things that people really need, or like expect or like care about. Um, as far as like I believe that women shouldn't go to the hospital to have birth. I don't think people should get their kids' birth certificates or anything like that. You know, but it's a very not too many people think like that. So that's how I think, though.
Well, yeah, I guess
I mean, if
it's
the people who brought you the border thing, with the troops at the border, are talking for a while, and you hear them say things like globe, planet, anything like that, or they show a logo of the globe, basically like they're, I don't know. I think the whole foundation is corrupt, literally from the ground up. So their story is not going to be a truthful narrative. I mean, especially if they don't even realize the situation on the ground that they live on. That's the way I see it. Mm.
yeah, but open borders won't work, bro. I mean, it's good to have an romanticized, idealistic view of the world, right? Hug some trees and plant some flowers and oh, kumbaya, but it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? You either have a country with security, or you have what you have now, people like zombie World War III kind of stuff, like in
Mad
downtown
Mad
San
Max.
Francisco. And it's your choice, bro. I mean, you can't have it both ways, though. You can't have open borders, drugs flooding in. I
Yeah,
mean, you
it's
can't
not
have it both. You have
possible,
to
dude.
have order.
I
You
mean,
can't have a nation without borders.
I think the
You can't have a
government
people.
government brings drugs in because it creates all kinds of jobs: probation officers, counselors, COs in jails, prisons. You know what I mean, like there's never not going to be drugs as long as there's those jobs.
I don't know, bro. I think we're living on two different planets, bro. No disrespect, but
I don't think I live on a planet, honestly. So you know
or
what I mean,
realm,
that's
or realm. Let's
yeah.
whatever word. Yeah.
I mean, like words are important, bro. That's the way I see it. I don't think we live on a planet. I
No,
mean,
he don't either, bro.
We can
He
agree on
slipped up.
that. Yeah.
we've been corrupted from the ground up, from the foundation up, literally, bro.
Give Effie a break, dude.
He's
Nah,
It's
yo,
all
cool.
good, bro. It's all good.
Hey,
no,
is
it's funny,
Witsit?
dude.
I gotta ask,
Sometimes
is
I'll say
Witsit?
planet too, bro, or I'll say globe. I'll be like all around the globe, and then I go, oh shit, because we're so used to saying these words that our whole lives we've been saying planet and globe.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
gotta
we
ask.
slip up.
Is Witsit in the chat right now?
Yeah, but I think he's not there though. Maybe.
Uh,
Yo, what's he there?
I met Witsit before when he was in Santa Barbara in Isla Vista. We flat smacked people on the corner for the most of the day.
What's up?
That was a long time ago. That was back in like 2021, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I can't. You asked me about that earlier, bro. I can't speak on that. Like, I don't know, bro. You know what I mean?
About
It's
what?
just like I think something's troubled my heart a little bit. You know what I mean? I have to say, I did learn a lot from him though. Watching his debates and shit. He's a smart motherfucker.
So this could get interesting. We could be hearing like Delta Force Team 6 took out 25 drug dealers. Like this could turn out into a war. You know that, right? This is just beginning here because you think these guys are going to take it lying down. You know they control most of Mexico, right? They battle it out with the Mexican army.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I can't wait, but I do look forward to what's going to happen with that. Is Trump going to invade Mexico because of the cartels? He's going to send troops over the border into Mexico to control the cartels. Like, what's going on?
That's the talk, bro. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the talk. Because if it's going to happen at the border, it's definitely going to happen across the border too, right?
Yeah.
So this could get really hairy, really quick.
And you know what else I seen recently? The James Webb Telescope just got a signal back from, it's like 13 or 33 billion light years away, bro. Now tell me this, like, what do you think? Do you think the shit's gonna go down if they discover another galaxy, or if they can look back in time to our origins about how the universe began? Do you think that would affect us? I'm just devil's advocate.
Well, you're talking to the right guy about the James Webb so-called telescope. Yeah, well, it's actually it's ripping their cosmology apart.
I
Can
know.
tell from so
I'll
many
just-
ways. Different ways. Say what?
I was playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, that's one of my things that I use against their cosmology because they can't argue against it, right?
Yeah.
It's findings from their own people, their own top guns, and it just doesn't jive with their predictions because they're big on predictions, right? Well, this kind of kills all their
It's
predictions.
like people arguing like who would win in a fight, like Batman or Superman. You know?
Well, no,
It
this
just
is like taking their kryptonite and using it against them. They claim they have a telescope, right? A million
Mhm.
miles away from Earth. That's so good that they're gonna take all kinds of measurements and see their predictions. Well, guess what? They did all that. That's what they claim, and all the findings just go against all their predictions. Now what?
Now what? We just make a bunch of shit up to make it all fit. That's now what.
They're trying to. That's what they're trying to do. For example, they tried to double the age of the universe. That failed. Then they tried something else. They're trying to say now there was a big bang, and about 100,000 years or so after that big bang, there was wait for it, a dark matter big bang. So they're coming out with ridiculous, crazy statements like that. And
does dark black hole lives matter?
yeah, I guess they do in their world. Yeah. But you see what I'm talking about? Their cosmology is falling apart, and they're scrambling to make stuff up, right, and patch the holes like they did in the past. But the holes are so big that there's really no patch big enough for this. So we're gonna have interesting years ahead in cosmology.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of deny a lot of that stuff. I mean, I enjoyed listening to some of the debates with Globers where they would abandon the mainstream heliocentric position in order to have a stronger debate position.
Yeah, bro, model denial, I call it. They have to start denying the model.
And it all starts
They
with
can't.
being like, "Well, I don't agree with Neil deGrasse Tyson," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I see. You're smart enough to know that at least."
Yep, but now they're gonna have to start putting the big wigs under the bus, right? Like the string theory guys and the dark energy guys and the dark matter guys. It's gonna get ugly because how they're gonna do that? These are the giants, right? That the shoulders they say they stand on. well, that's all gonna go bye-bye.
Yeah, standing on the shoulders of Hawking isn't a great idea.
Yep. All their predictions are no more. Galaxy formation, dark hole formation, expansion, redshifts, all of it. It's all gone.
Hey, you know the
All
the coldest summer I ever spent was a winter in Antarctica, standing on the shoulders of the giants at Soldier Field.
I kind of get it.
I'm just fucking with you. We're over here doing the double slit Cavendish experiment, bro. The double blindfolded slit Cavendish experiment.
You see, they have an advantage, right? Because most people don't understand this stuff and the implications of the stuff. So they can just make stuff up, one-liners. And most people they don't think much of it.
No, you can just tell them length contraction and time dilation, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe it. And it's like, yeah, because it's not real.
Exactly. Throw some words like that around. Yeah. Superposition. Oh yeah. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, man. No, it just
And then
looks
they'll
that
throw
way because of refraction, bro.
yeah. And then they'll throw a complicated equation that I'm sure nobody understands, like 90% of the people in here, right? And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, like they're afraid to say, what the heck does that mean? And yeah, just get away with it.
E equals MC Tune on Squarespace, bro.
Yeah. You don't understand the tensor field of the vibrational frequency of the tensor, bro. Come on, man.
You just gotta spank him with Van Allen belts, bro. NASA's been a bad boy. Spank him with Van Allen belts. You heard that song before or what? By Flat Earth Mafia? That's the shit, dude.
So you said something about like Antarctica and a marathon earlier. You're not one of them deniers, are you?
I don't know. I said the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in a marathon in Antarctica. Oh fuck.
I was referring to like quite a bit earlier, but
Uh yeah. I've been looking at YouTube here and there. Fuck, whatever. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just
Flatterday,
reserved.
do you think the
What
trip
up,
was fake?
bro? Fuck, bro. I feel like the kid on the steps when like he found out that the Sox may have thrown the series, and Joe DiMaggio walks by him. I feel like that kid, bro, on the steps right now. Just I'm like, say it ain't so, dog. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yo,
I,
where
mother.
you watch? Where did you watch? I want to know what content you watched that made you think it was fakes.
I mean, I don't know. Fuck, bro. I just like I'm super skeptical of hella shit, bro. You know what I mean? So
No, I know, but I'm just asking you what. I mean, you didn't just come up with the idea, right? So what did you
yeah,
watch? I'm just
I,
curious.
I
Did you see the
watched
Eric
like
Dubay video?
yeah, I seen that, and then I seen like RV, and then like I skimmed through like Flatoid shit. You know what I mean? And like you know, um,
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I just know that like I got love for that fool, and I even got love for Nathan, bro. And fucking, the first time I met Nathan was that whole fucking chicken suit thing. Remember that shit?
Yeah, you said I got love for that fool. Who are you talking about?
For Austin, like
You're
I met
talking
that.
to Austin, bro.
Oh, this is you?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, yeah, fool. I don't know, bro. I mean, like, I feel like that kid though. Like, if you know what I mean,
No, I
like,
know. I know. I'm trying to talk to you about it. I'm trying to talk to you about it.
okay, okay, my
So,
bad. I didn't, I didn't realize
all right.
you,
I was just
bro.
asking where you heard it because, like, have you been keeping up with it like a lot?
Not a lot, bro. I mean, I don't really go on. I lost my account. I can't even get on my YouTube channel. So I watch certain things. You know what I mean? I showed it to Jackie just because, like, we've always followed you, bro. Like, your content that comes out, we will always try to watch first. Like, we both agree, like, you're the most informative as far as like in a debate and everything. The points you bring up about like electromagnetic propagation and like all this stuff is like some of it, like you've actually like inspired me to go look things up and like read through things I would have never read through, you know, and download things and everything like that. I would say like honestly, bro, I'm gonna just be honest with you. The thing that made me question it was your response back to Flatsoid or that other dude. I don't even know the other dude's name. When you got mad and you started insulting them, that's what made me like, what the fuck? Like that. And Jackie's like, I've never heard Witsit do that. People always insult Witsit. He never insults people. And so that's what made me think, like, what the fuck? But like, you know what I mean? I don't I I don't know what you went through or I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know,
Mhm.
bro. You know? I mean, if I don't know.
Well, you can see that this is different, right? So you have like anti-flat earthers, they attack me all the time. It's whatever. But
I
these are
know, bro.
people, these are flat earthers that claim to be truthers. A lot of them who supposedly have my back, or some of them I've even met in person or whatever. And they're just like blatantly lying about me. So like with Flatzoid, he like has his all his ideas, whatever. That's not lying, you know. He could think it's fake and be wrong. But then I took the time to like address his stuff and show that what he's saying wasn't true. And then he was actually intentionally lying. Like he was like, I said, I never claimed I didn't vape. This is an example. He's
Yeah.
like, wow, you're lying. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm like, I never once said I didn't vape. The first time I was asked if I vaped in Antarctica, I said yes. And I explained that I had a vape. He said, he kept saying I was lying. And then he pulled up the video where I was actually talking to him before that. And I'm like, I objectively did not vape, walk over to the camera, and try to fake my breath. And he was intentionally trying to pull that first part out as if it was by itself. And I just said I didn't vape. When what I actually said was I didn't hit a vape, go over to the camera and try to fake my breath. So he was like intentionally trying to pull that first part out and show the closed captions of that part without letting the audience hear the what I actually said right after that to make it look like I claimed I never vaped and was lying. So when I realized that he was like in like actually a liar, because like that requires like intention to intentionally try to deceive the audience by lying and taking that out and cut and make sure they don't hear the rest. Yeah, I got pissed at that dude. That dude pretends to be like a believer and all this stuff. So whatever. I did like call Flatsoid names, but I mean,
Can I ask you something?
whatever. You know, like good.
How, like, what if you went to where your video, like, you went there, right? Where the snow was and everything, but like, what if that wasn't even Antarctica? They're just telling you that was Antarctica. Do you know what I mean?
Well, for one, I don't see how that would even change much because there should be, I mean, where should I go on the flat earth map where I see the 24-hour sun? Like it doesn't even matter if it is Antarctica or not. But realistically, it is because we went to Punta Arenas in South America, and we were 100% in Punta Arenas, right? Like I landed in South America and had to go through customs and get my passport stamped, and then had to fly further south in Chile. And then I'll go around Punta Arenas. I'm there for 2 days. I'm talking to people in the city, going around the city, taking Ubers in the city. I was in Punta Arenas, you know, and you could see the landmarks that were there, whatever. And then I get on a plane and we start flying south. I have 4 different compasses. I have a floating compass, 2 mechanical compasses, a military grade compass. Liz has multiple compasses, blah, blah, blah. Jaren has 2, 3 compasses. We're checking them all. All of them are agreeing that we're going south. Every compass says we're going south. And then we start flying from Punta Arenas and we fly for like 4 hours. After 2 hours, we start entering this huge landmass with tons of ice as far as you can see in all directions. Then we fly over it for 2 hours, and in fact, it's like so pretty that it's like wild. It like is almost emotional. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you saw it, you would maybe understand. Or maybe like the first time you fly over the Grand Canyon, you're like, damn, this is like 1,000 times more than that. It's like insane.
Let me
And
ask you
then we
something.
fly over it and land on the ice, like we fly over ice, like pure ice and snow for 2 straight hours, like hundreds of miles. And then we land on the ice, and we're very clearly just like in Antarctica, right? There's like no animals, no insects. It's super dry, super bright, super quiet. Like just Antarctica, bro.
Tell me this: do you have any regrets?
Um, yeah. If you like, for one, they told us that we could only pack one bag that was under 55 pounds. When we got there, they ended up saying we could bring a ton. So I regret not just bringing multiple bags and like taking the chance, because that way I could have brought multiple cameras and done more tests, like even like flat earth tests and stuff. I couldn't really bring anything because they told us we only have one bag. Then we get there, all the Glovers have like 3 or 4 bags. They tell us actually you can bring as much as you want. So they knew, but they told us we could only bring one. So that's a huge one. Um, I would have slept. I wouldn't have pulled an all nighter the day before I went. I would have slept more, even in Punta Arenas, so I wasn't just so delirious and tired when we got there. I would have done more while I was there. So like, okay, obviously would have now in retrospect like handled I wouldn't have even vaped, because although there's nothing wrong with me. Like I don't think vaping's good, but the fact I hit a vape isn't some like big oh my god thing. It's so gay. But in retrospect, I was sad I wouldn't have even vaped. I definitely wouldn't have
Yeah,
vaped anywhere near me streaming.
do you, as of right now, like have a clear conscience about everything that's happened?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Then, I mean, like,
100%.
fuck what everybody says. Then, like, if your conscience is clear, because like me personally, I don't know. Although I do know you more than anybody else who's tried to bash you or anything, and I haven't met them people. I really look up to you, bro. You know what I mean? And so I mean, like, if you have a clean conscience and everything, then that's all that really matters, bro. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
we
these
hung out
people,
multiple times, bro. You think that I would like sell my soul to lie to the world? And, like
I
what
don't
the
think that, bro. But like I don't. It may not be everything. Like there may be other things at play that none of us have any idea. Or I mean, like I don't know, bro. I believe that you went there. I mean, like it's not really for me to judge. You know what I mean? I don't know. The whole vape gate thing is like fucking like really stupid, and I think you know what I mean. I don't know, bro. I vape personally, and like I don't think it's really about you vaping or not, though. You know what I mean?
No,
I
I
think
know, but
it's
that's what's so think about the vape. The claim is that I hit the vape so I could go on camera and fake my breath, so I could pretend I was there and pretend that you could see your breath, right? But if you actually watch, there's high definition 360 video, which on its face just shows you how stupid this idea is that we faked it. It's like we faked it. That's why we gave you like 25 hours uncut raw footage in 360 to look at all the stuff behind the scenes the entire time we were there. What the hell? It's like this was faked. I'm gonna show this footage that I'm claiming is fake as proof that we caught them faking it. Or it's so stupid. It's like, oh, the footage is real enough for you to claim that it was faked. But anyway, and if you watch it, you see that I'm vaping and I'm trying to hide it from the camera. Like literally, I'm like crouching below the trash can at the end of the stream. Someone deceptively chopped that up and acted like it was during the stream and just like blatantly lied. And then
did
that
you
got like
did you
millions of
ever
impressions.
think that the McToon or any of those those villains could have like maybe they put certain videos out to be seen so it makes it questionable for certain things because like they get off on like all they're so happy
Yes.
that
Yes,
like
not
people
McToon. not McToon though, but yes, some of like most of the videos are claims about the trip being faked. Okay, I wouldn't say most. I just know we've proven that quite a few of them actually came from Globers, like anti-flat earthers. They
Yeah.
put out videos because they think it's hilarious
Yeah.
to sit back and watch all the flat earthers take it and run with it when they just
Yeah.
made it up. It's like a joke to them. And then they get to watch like flat earth like just collapse and implode and divide and attack and obviously they think it's awesome that everyone turned on me.
Oh
They
yeah, I'm
think it's
sure.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. You know, I'm sure,
But
like, because they
Flatterday
can't.
sense, put yourself in my shoes, dude, which is that I went there for the community. Meaning, if I didn't go, they would have just put another quote unquote flat earther there. And I don't know if you've kept up with what Jaren is doing, right? But Jaren came back and like flipped on us low key, right? And so then now imagine me not having gone, or like them putting someone else in there, and then they could go on like a media run, some other quote unquote flat earther, and they're like, "Oh, well now I know I was wrong, and actually the Earth's a globe or whatever." So I'm like, we need someone that's trusted that actually knows the arguments, can actually present the real flat Earth evidence, can do a debate, right? That is like has experience on camera and in interviews and stuff that will go and like truly represent flat Earth the right way. So I felt like that's why I should go, was to take one for the team, kind of. Like I live in Florida, bro. I don't want to go to some like cold desert. Like that sounds miserable. And for 11 days away from my family, spending money I don't have. But I went for like for the squad, basically. That's how I viewed it. I spent money I didn't have. I had like no sleep. I went with people that I can't stand. I went with McToon, for example, someone that
Yeah,
slandered me
that's
and my family for
yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yo, I did
exactly.
all that like for the team. I go there, they're like lying to us the whole time. They're telling us we can only bring one bag, but then they knew they could bring multiple bags. Once we finally get everything set up, they hand out the Wi-Fi password to all the Globers, but then don't tell the flat earthers. I have to like go behind their back to try to find the Wi-Fi password and then hide that I have it. All of it, the whole thing was just, and then right before the trip, I went off on McToon and Duffy to their face, just like called them out, exposed them. And then he's like, "Well, you guys don't have to go." I'm like, "Fine, we won't go." And I had to like call his bluff. It was like a whole thing. My point is that it was like a whole thing. As soon as we get there, we go eat the first dinner. McToon has his freaking GoPro set up, filming everything. It's like turns into a 4v1 debate where they're converging on me about flat Earth. McKeegan, Critical Think, McToon, and Duffy. Like the first night that we're there, after traveling for like 24 straight hours with no sleep, and it was just like a disaster. I got really sick. I'm like still sick, and
I'm surprised. Hey, honestly, bro, when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, bro, they're gonna try to like paint the picture like that dude who crashed the rocket, or you know what I mean? Like, next thing you know,
yeah.
because I thought they were gonna try to clip you, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, so I didn't because I prayed about it, and I trust the creator with stuff like that. But um, and then when we were flying there, Darren was like, "Yo, look at the shadow of the plane." So you could see the shadow of the plane on the clouds down below us, and there was like a
Mhm.
perfect rainbow around the plane, like this little mini like rainbow, like a circle, like it looked like a little orb that was like protecting us, right? Like flying with us around the shadow of the plane, like a perfect rainbow. So I'm like, oh, that's like the creator showing that we're good, like he's protecting us. But anyway, my point is, I just did all that, and I've said it so many times. I don't want to go into further detail. Like that's a decent summary of like a lot of the negatives of the trip, right? Like no sleep, got sick. Like I'm literally still sick, and the last like 5 days, it's gotten so bad that when I cough, I taste blood like in my throat. Like it's like crazy. I don't know what happened. I thought that I was gonna have to go see the doctor while I was there. Uh, Obviously, people have like, oh, they probably poisoned you or something. I'm not saying that. I don't think that, but like I did get crazy sick, and I never really get sick, and I'm still sick. It's been like a month.
Are
All
you
of
the only
that.
one?
So,
Is
Hey,
Jaren
can I?
sick?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, real quick. Is Jaren sick too?
I don't think so. I know Jaren was kind of getting sick while we were there, but
Well,
he wasn't
I
sick
think
like
I know
me.
what got you sick, dude. Because
was gonna say, yeah, top the
how old
gates.
was that vape? Was that vape brand new? Was it used? And how long was it in your
No,
backpack?
it
Until
was
you
it
found
was
it?
it was old, well, like a
How
wall, like
old though?
really old. Like
Yeah, that's what got you sick. The vape got you sick because when you have oxidized old ass oil sitting in the chamber, dude, for a year, 2 years, dude, that's that's what got you sick, bro.
maybe
Hey,
so.
with
It's
where
crazy that I'm still sick a month later.
where in like proximity from where they were doing where you did the live stream was the hotel you were staying at? Like how far did you have to travel to go back to sleep at, or like to where your bed was and everything?
You mean like the live stream like in Antarctica or Punta
Yeah,
Arenas?
like you know there's like there's like tracks all over the ground from like some type of like thing that like smoothed out the snow, and then there was like little blue like huts or whatever. Like
Yeah,
from
in
there, you weren't.
Antarctica,
Yeah,
they
you
were
weren't.
tents. They're like
Oh,
far cry
okay,
from a hotel. But okay,
but
so
you.
we land we land in a plane. Okay, and then you get on. They have like the most badass vehicles ever, right? They all run off jet fuel, whatever. So we got in this huge, like really dope truck thing to drive. We drive like 30 minutes. So I think it's like it's a handful of miles. I don't remember. You go from the runway to the camp. We go to the camp and then we're there for a little bit. They give us orientation. They walk us through and show us how everything works. We eat food. They show us our tents. And then because it was clear, we're like, we're going to go to this other location off site to film the sun. That was because if we had stayed at the campsite, the sun would slightly go below one of the mountains because the elevation angle of the mountain was 13.5 degrees and the sun goes just below that. So we weren't going to film the sun and it get blocked by the mountain because it would have been a whole conspiracy, you know. So we go out off site. So anyway, we get in the car after we've been there for like 4 hours or something like that. We get in that another vehicle and we go 5 kilometers, so like 3.5 miles or whatever. Uh, and we just stay up for 24 straight hours. Um, and so that's how far away the tents that we slept in were from where we filmed and did the live stream and stuff like that. It was 3.5 miles. Now, but when we were there, the first night we were there, or whatever, right, we're just staying up for 24 hours. Like I slept for like maybe a couple hours, right, on the ground underneath the table. So like we didn't go to our tent until and sleep until after the full 24-hour period. The first day we were there, where we were filming the sun, and so then after that we get in the good, and then they would take us back to the campsite to eat. So they took us there to eat maybe twice or something, and then they would take us back, or we would take shifts. So there's always someone there or watching the cameras or whatever. Anyway, so then we get all the way through the 24 hours, and I think we don't end up getting everything wrapped up and packed up and stuff until like 11 p.m., maybe midnight the next. So we started filming the 24-hour sun at 9 p.m. And then we left that site, that location off-site, a little after midnight. Not even everyone came back. Like Liz, for example, was like, "Dude, I'm done. I'm staying at the tent and sleeping or whatever." But so we get everything packed up, and then we go back to the campsite after midnight. Um, and that's 3.5 miles. And then that's the first time we're able to actually like lay down the little cot they have in this tent and sleep. So yeah.
Tell me this, from the Antarctic Treaty or like the rules to go there. From my understanding, they have like really strict adherence to like making sure like about like um your trash, where you go to the bathroom. You always have to be escorted by somebody. Is that true?
The escorted part, no, but
Like shopping or
yeah,
whatever. You can't just go off by yourself.
no. Well, no, yeah, you definitely can't just walk around. So there's like flags that mark these boundaries, and they say don't go outside the flags because there are like crevasses, as they would call them, that you can fall in, and there are some that are big enough to swallow up a minivan or whatever, and you could die. Um, but when you're there, dude, I'm just gonna tell you, you have no longing to like rebel and go out and like go rogue and privately explore, like you would die, like for sure, 100%. You know what I'm saying? It's so
Yeah.
like huge and vast. If you're gonna explore Antarctica, you need to go there with a freaking airship or something. You know, you're not just gonna start mobbing around there. You're just gonna die. But anyway,
Where did you guys go in the
everything is
bathroom?
really particular. Everything is really particular. Uh, Funny enough, they had a smoking section set up, but like just as the example, like you can't ash on the ground or anything. Like they were very particular. There were a few people in the group that were smokers. They were like, each time you're gonna ash has to be inside the little standing ashtray thing. You can't even flick an ash on the ground. Now, if you had done that, it's not like they were gonna come and arrest you or something, but I'm just saying that's how like particular they were. And then one of the guys, Jonathan, at one point spilled his Coke on the ice, like on the snowy ice or whatever. And it was like a whole deal. And they like kind of marked it off, and then they went and scooped it up and put it in this container and waited to then go and dispose it. And then when you use the bathroom, everything that uh, all the waste from the bathroom, they keep all of it. So there are these giant containers of like poop and pee, right? Because they fly it off of the quote unquote continent or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it was like a whole thing, and but it kind of makes sense. That's why it was so like pristine, right? Like you
Was
didn't
it an
see like
outhouse?
dirty snow or anything like that.
Like an outhouse or porta potty
Yeah, yeah. It was like
with like
kind of
liquid?
makeshift. It was a little bit more like sturdy or whatever, more permanent esque than like just your typical porta potty. But yeah, it was just like that, and it was freezing. So like if you had to sit down, it was freezing. They just
I,
trap it and kind of run it down through these containers.
what about the people who are running marathon? Aren't they running for like hours? How do they go to the bathroom?
Well, there was like a couple places along the path that you could use the bathroom, but that's just
Okay.
always a thing. And marathon runners, they normally have something inside their pants or something like that where they pee. I don't know. JT was telling me about how they actually like pee while they're running, and that you don't have to pee that much because you're sweating so much or something, and you train your body not to have to pee. I don't know.
No, that's true. When I was fighting fires, bro, I would drink like 2 gallons of water in like an hour, and then I wouldn't have to pee all day till late at night because all the water would come out of my body as sweat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I was just wondering, like, if they're trying, if people like the marathon people wore diapers, or like, did anybody there, or like you're just saying bathrooms were available, so you didn't have a problem using the bathroom, and then they fly all the piss and poop out. That's crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's just all those like strict rules and everything. Um, or how they say like you have to be chaperoned. So that part's not true about being chaperoned all the time.
No, because they have the whole camp set up, so you were allowed to walk around where you wanted to within the camp, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tell you very specifically like you can't go outside the boundaries. But like I said, you have no longing to do that. And like I'll say from my perspective, very shortly after being there, I was like, this was cool or whatever, like seeing it when you're flying in and kind of seeing it. But I was like ready to leave very quickly. Like this is miserable, you know. So like it sucked. I didn't like it. A lot of people were like, "You're so ungrateful," and I was like, "Okay, whatever." I didn't like it, and I felt like we weren't. I felt like humans weren't even supposed to be there. Like, if there's like no animal or insect that's been able to figure things out, like you shouldn't be there. And like when I'm like we're flying there, all I'm thinking is like, wow, like the creator totally made this place to where there's really no excuses. You know, it's like you're supposed to turn around. You're just not supposed to be there. So it was miserable and it was like dry. It was cold. It wasn't as cold as like maybe I thought Antarctica was going to be, but for me it was like freezing because I live in Florida, you know. But it was like super bright. The sun was reflecting off the ice. You were like getting sunburnt, so it was like this weird, like kind of paradoxical thing in a way in your mind. It was Antarctica and it was kind of cold, but then it was like you were getting sunburnt the whole time. What's
Do you
that?
feel like the sun closer than it was like in Florida?
Um, I don't know. I mean, hard to say. So like. the sun is pretty intense in Florida. I don't know if you've been there, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was more intense in the sense that it was reflecting off of the ground and off of the mountain. So like basically sunlight's coming at you intensely from all angles. And like,
yeah.
yeah, dude, you get sunburned super fast. Like I like hate sunscreen and would never wear it. Dude, if you go to Antarctica, you're gonna put some sunscreen on your face. Like I promise.
I would have gone barefoot right there, bro.
I thought about it. Some people suggested I do, but it was just way too cold, bro. I was wearing multiple layers of socks and then these big boots, and
Yeah,
but people said I should have grounded.
you can always, bro, always. Remember, I used to always tell you that. Take your shoes off, bro. You know what
Oh, no, I walked through Target with you, bro.
I mean? Yeah, remember?
Oh
uh,
God, you remember? Yeah, you told the person checking you out about what the symbolism on the dollar was.
yeah, I'm all conspiracy out the game.
That's why it's so crazy. Like you can see my perspective, where it's like, you're one of the many people I've like met and hung out with in person while I was on a tour or whatever. And like they even got to you, bro. Everyone, there are so many people that like turned on me. You gotta see my perspective where it just seems insane. Seems insane that this many people I even knew, and I try to be like super accessible. Like most content creators aren't gonna come in Discord like I do. I come in Discord for hours and hours all the time. I answer everyone's questions. I'm super transparent, right? Like I try to be real accessible. And then, I was like telling everyone where I was at on the tour. So it's like a year and a half straight of me traveling, telling everyone where I'm at, hanging out with them, answering everyone's questions, whatever.
Bro, you poured your heart and soul into this, and like I've seen you when you just like you killed the stream and you just kept talking for like an hour and a half, not even on stream to people about, not giving them medical advice, but you know what I mean, in Isla Vista, and I was like, damn, this dude's like, you know what I mean? Sometimes like when it's in you, you can't do anything but that, you know?
Well, yeah, that's right. You got to see. Most people don't know that after the stream ends, then it's like when we kept going because it's like the COVID and the vaccine stuff that we couldn't say on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's so funny. I'm remembering now. You remember when we were at where was that college we were at?
Isla Vista, UCSB.
Yeah. You remember those like those chicks that tried to stop us? Dude, that
Yeah,
was so funny, bro.
they were
There were
so
these
hated.
there were chicks wearing this like one of them was wearing these like dog ear things and
Yeah.
like as a way to protest us, they like sat Indian style around my speaker and they like had their own little Bluetooth speaker and they were like trying to turn it up with music or something to like drown it. It was the weirdest.
So weird, dude. It's crazy how flat Earth brings out the worst in people, though, huh? You know what I mean? I mean, you've been
Yeah,
attacked,
yeah, triggers.
you know,
So I just
but
wanted to interrupt. Sorry. What's it? Not everybody is against you. It might feel like that, but I'm kind of indifferent. I'm a fence sitter. I was on the flat Earth fence for like a year and a half. I'm not convinced that there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but that doesn't mean that I think you're a liar. It just means that it's a received idea that I haven't accepted. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, you can believe whatever you want, I mean, the necessary implication is that I'm lying, though. I mean, that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, but that is kind of
It
the
doesn't.
necessary
It doesn't.
implication.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I think you're lying. It just means that I'm not convinced. It's not a you thing, it's a me thing.
I
Witsit, if
understand,
it
but like, if we came and claimed that there was there and it actually isn't there, then necessarily I would have to.
Well, I'm not thinking about you lying or not. It's not about you. It's about the idea of there being a 24-hour sun.
No, I get it, bro. I'm just saying that as you're floating the idea around that either it's real or it's not, I'm not convinced it's there. In the scenario that it's not there, there would have had to have been some type of deception with the final experiment thing. It's not even about just me particularly. There was a lie in that scenario. It required there be a lie or some type of like big deception. Well, which is fine. I don't really care. Platypus, what's up?
I was just gonna say I haven't talked to you since you since TFE. I was just gonna say, good job. You did the best you could. Sorry it turned out this way. This was definitely I did not see this coming. I did not see the community splitting like this.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. But anyways, I just want to give you props where props is due. I would not have gone. So yeah.
Appreciate it, man. I
Yeah, I
definitely
think
did
you
not
went
think
to
that was gonna
Antarctica.
happen at all.
I think you went to Antarctica, and it's really messed up. They said you could only take one bag, stifling all your experiments. I think that there was a lot of shady stuff going around. But as far as you lying or not, like that doesn't even like, cross my mind. It's whether or not there's actual 24-hour sun. And I've heard people say that you're lying. I've heard people say that you're telling the truth. Like my book says, don't trust in men, right? So I saw on TV there was a 24-hour sun, and one of the guys, that went just happens to be Witsit, which I think is a truthful guy, right? So that adds a lot of, validity to what I saw on TV, but still, I can't trust in men. So why do you think I was on the fence for so long? Like, I just don't trust them.
Well, the book also says, and not saying you're doing this, right, but lots of people are that claim to believe in that book. And it says not to bear false witness. And so there are lots of people that are totally out of pocket scripturally. Again, not saying that you are, but certainly when there's like a believer involved, which I am, right? Like we're instructed if say you think that they're out of line, you're instructed to approach them privately, to try to correct them or talk to them. And then if they don't listen or they're not receptive, to then try to get another believer and go approach them privately. And then even another few believers as a group and go approach them privately. And then only then do you go quote unquote public. And actually, in the context of that, it's then talking to the fellowship of believers. It isn't just the general world, Um, and that you're not supposed to bear false witness, and that is actually a very serious offense to do so. And again, not saying you're doing that at all,
Yeah,
but I'm
if
just
it doesn't
saying that
apply,
there
let it
is a
fly.
group. Yeah, yeah. So it's like you can see where it's like I'm like, damn, bro. Like when someone claims to be a believer in this whole scenario and they knew me personally, it's like I hold them to a higher standard. Like Dustin Nemos, for example, like I know I let them know what I think. I'm like, you claim to be a believer, and instead of even I saw you saying stuff publicly, so then I approached you privately, trying to tell you like, dude, you need to chill, like whatever. But it's all good. It's all. It's like I'll just tell you, man, look, we flew from Punta Arenas for 4 hours. The final 2 hours of the flight was all snow, all ice. We were very clearly in Antarctica. We landed at Union Glacier. It's a real camp in Antarctica. And as soon as we got out, the sun was like bussing, When we were flying there, the sun was on our left. And throughout the flight, it ended up being behind the plane. And it was like kind of starting to loop around us. I mean, we didn't see like do a ton, right? Because we only flew for 4 hours. We land on ice. It was very crazy. And then we pop out, we get in the car, we get to the camp. It's a 30-minute drive. First thing that I do is I'm like, dang, the sun looks like it's way too high. Like it shouldn't be this high according to the globe. Let's take an elevation angle. It was like 34 degrees or something. So it was technically, according to the globe, could get up to like 35 degrees. So I'm like, okay, well, it just seems really high, but it's not too high, I guess, yet. And then we looked at it with a solar filter, and I saw the sunspots, and I knew that those were the sunspots that are visible on the sun right now. Because obviously there are multiple sunspots in the sun, and it changes in a 27-day cycle. So I knew, oh, those are the right sunspots that my buddy in North America are seeing, like that we saw in Punta Arenas, whatever. Same so for me, when I actually saw the sun through a solar filter, I could tell as far as I know, that's the real sun. Like, you know what I'm saying? That did a lot for me in terms of just kind of eliminating the idea it wasn't the real sun.
Like a sun simulator.
Yeah, like when I looked at it with a solar
Yeah,
filter and I saw the exact sunspot.
yeah. You know what I noticed when in the footage of the sun going in a loop, like you know what I noticed when it's fast forwarded is how many planes sprayed chemtrails in front of the sun. Did you notice that too?
No, there are not lots of planes there at all.
Well, I mean, I
They're
saw
basically there are no
forming, like chem clouds forming in front of the sun multiple times.
Sure, I mean, I
Like,
don't dispute they may be messing with the clouds there, but there definitely aren't like planes actively flying or spraying the skies or anything. Like no planes.
you never heard? Well, I mean, I'm sure you heard a couple planes there. Because there was one time when the
No.
plane was like super loud, bro. You could hear it overhead, and it was like super freaking loud. But yeah, I saw like little wispy clouds like appearing in front of the sun when it was fast forwarded and shit. You know, I mean that doesn't really take away or give anything to it though. That's just my observation. You know what I mean?
I was wondering if any of these people going around claiming Witsit's lying or faking it, if they've been if they've been examining the Puntos Aries footage as well, because they would have to have faked that one too. The problem started in Puntos Aries. Jaren already knew it was over for him before he touched landfall in Antarctica.
I don't think the argument.
It's my
Sorry.
opinion. These people claiming Witsit is lying, like QOP and all these other people, it's a severe cognitive coping mechanism for what was revealed in the final experiment. They're unable to cope with what reality has revealed them, so they're finding the least painful approach, which to them is shifting full time to calling Witsit a liar, to character assassinating him.
To be clear, I think the correct argument is that they went to Antarctica, but they faked the sun.
The sun, the point is, as far as the Gleason version of flat Earth goes, with North Pole in the center, before it's already over before they even touched foot in Antarctica. The sun was going the wrong way already in Puntos Aries. Jaren already figured this out. So maybe you guys, next time you hear someone calling Witsit a liar, tell them it was already over at Puntos Aries.
Yeah, I got a
Okay, yeah,
question
but
for you
obviously I
guys.
already knew that that happened before we went there, right? I mean, the argument was just that if that's happening on anything similar to a AE map, that it's in the parent position, and you can replicate that with like a dome. But just like I gotta help my baby. I think SC was trying to.
Yeah, I got a question for the fake sunners, right? What do you guys make of the North, Scandinavia? Do you guys believe that there's a 24-hour sun there? Or no?
I mean, what we believe or not really doesn't really matter. If you know what I mean, like a belief is just like a religious thing, kind of, or a thing by faith. You know what I mean?
Okay,
But just
well,
real
choose
quick, it's
whatever word
not.
you want.
Yeah, it's
Is
not. Belief just means to accept to be true. It's not a religious thing. Faith and belief are different words. Faith is believing without evidence. Belief just means to accept to be true.
yeah,
I
before we
mean,
go into what believe means, like you guys understand what I'm saying, right? Is
yeah, I know.
there a 24-hour sun in Scandinavia? Yes or no?
I have no idea, bro. Honestly have never really thought about it till you're saying it right now. You know what I mean?
I'll bite. Yes, I think there's a 24-hour sun in Scandinavia.
Okay, cool. So then it's not that hard to imagine, believe, use whatever term you want, that there might be one in the south, quote unquote, in that area, right?
Agreed. But I have a question. Is it okay just to not have an opinion formed yet?
No, actually, I'm so glad you said that, Larry, because that's the best place to be, right?
Yeah, because I'm
If you
not
don't
emotionally
know,
tied to Witsit.
yeah,
Even though I have a great admiration for Witsit in more than one way, I don't want to be emotionally tied to it while I'm looking at the information.
that's a fair statement. Yeah, and there's
Feel
even
the
a
same
word
way
for
as you,
that.
Larry. I think before all the data's out, all the facts are out, there's a lot of unpublished stuff. I think it's better to like reserve opinion That's why I started making these like Twitter posts, sort of joking at the people who are like, "Look, Austin's shadow makes the Freemasonic 666 sign or whatever."
Yeah. Austin's shadow. I'm sorry for laughing. I know it's pretty serious for some of you guys, but um,
No, but
yeah, I
Larry,
don't
there's
really fall for stuff
philosophical
like that.
terms for this, right? There's actual philosophical terms. It's better to be in a certain state. Like if you don't know something, it's better to like, you know, like instead of making a lie, you can put it aside, right?
Yeah, I'm just
I forget
gathering
the
information.
yeah,
At this point, I'm not convinced either way. If there is a 24-hour sun and everything is legit, then it just is what it is. What does that have to do with the shape of the Earth?
exactly. Yeah. Some people feel that there has to be an explanation for that, right? They need to know the explanation. And some will say, well, yeah, it's because of the shape of the earth. But do they really know? Not really.
I think some people don't want to lose that AE map, but I divorced, the quote unquote AE model back in like 2016. So what would it
I
matter to
never
me?
believed in it from the get go. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. A nice wall around a pizza dish. I never bought that.
I just know
Not
when I
for one
looked on the
So,
second.
beach,
guys,
I could see
we're
beach
finding out
houses.
that observing 24-hour sun in Antarctica technically doesn't falsify the being true.
Did he break up for everybody there or just me?
Yeah, he broke up.
Everybody.
Try it again, bro.
Like 24-hour sun, observing 24-hour sun in Antarctica technically doesn't actually falsify any AE map. Doesn't confirm it either.
Are you sure of that?
Yes, because technically you and I don't know what's above our heads. If we knew for sure what is above our heads, then it might. But without certain knowledge to add on top of that observation, it's still just blind guesswork, technically.
It's not
You are
blind guesswork.
correct, but
Go ahead, Essie.
you go, bro. Go ahead.
Orion, do you think the measurable perimeter around the coastline of Antarctica is guesswork? Let me ask you this, Orion. In your reality, what is more akin to the accurate measurable perimeter of the coastline of Antarctica? Is it more around 12,000 miles, or is it more around 80,000 miles?
Wait,
You
how
know,
did they measure it, bro?
well, I'm asking Orion right now because look, Glober's humanity, the coastline of Antarctica is more akin to 11,000 miles perimeter. When you step into the AE map world, this perimeter now is no longer 11,000 miles. This perimeter now is 78,000 miles. This ice wall, they're not one for one. So
Yeah.
I hear Orion say we're not going to use lights in the sky. That's cool. How about measurable distances on ground?
Well, you're saying that, but but they're not measurable distances, and that's why I asked you how they measure it. And when people actually have tried to go along the coastline of Antarctica, it's taken them like way, way too long based on how long it should take with that
Sure.
assumed distance. And that, so
Sure. Do you understand the difference between 12,000 miles and 78,000 miles? Do you understand the 7x difference?
but believe it or not, yes, I do understand very basic math.
Okay. Okay. Do you understand the implications of if Antarctica is not a small island continent as we've measured it, but it's now an ice ring around the world? Do you understand the implications of that?
That's a super vague, borderline deflective question, but when I asked you to back up your claim that it had been measured, you're just
Okay.
deflecting
So
to like,
I
oh,
got you
it's
with
way
it.
different. I mean, come on, bro.
Okay, I was speaking to Orion Witsit, but since you wanted to jump in, we can handle you too. Hold on one second.
Well, you're just going to deflect to something else, I'm guessing, because you just keep on
Witsit, are
asserting
you
that it
a
was
truth
measured.
seeker? Would you consider
Yeah.
yourself a truth seeker, Witsit?
Yes, but
Okay,
I
as
am
a
not going to
seeker of
listen to you
truth,
just deflect away
as a
from.
I didn't deflect. I was speaking to
Yeah, don't
Orion,
do
and
the
you
meta,
were
bro. Yeah,
blowing
you are
smoke yourself.
deflecting, bro. Yeah, stick on topic, bro.
Witsit,
Please.
would you what would you say is more akin to the true measurable size of Antarctica? If you had to
I don't
choose,
know.
I know you don't know. If you had to choose, which one would you say?
If I have to choose, like,
Yeah.
why would I have? I have no idea.
As a
Like,
truth seeker who seeks truth, which one would you choose if you had to choose?
right in the middle,
Okay,
because I don't
I
have to
disagree.
choose.
I disagree.
I
Okay,
know, I know
I
you obviously
choose. I
disagree,
choose.
but it's different to say like I disagree or I think. You were actually very confidently asserting it, claiming that it was a measurable. It's like it's a
It
real
is
measurable
measurable.
thing.
It
How
is
was it measured?
measurable. We've
How was it
measured the
measured?
Earth. It is measurable. By the way,
How was it
FY,
the
in this
first line of
conversation,
answer? You'll never answer this question, by the way.
hey, hold on, I'm speaking. Don't jump in the middle of me speaking. In this conversation, your incompetence in figuring things out is not my burden, is not my issue. Your incompetence of not knowing the estimated perimeter of the size of Antarctica, whether or not it's 11,000 miles or 78,000 miles, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Humanity is flying around everywhere on this earth. Humanity has shipping everywhere on this earth. Every day we are doing this. The distances, the times, the speeds that humanity uses is distances on the globe. Distances on the globe, circles of latitude get shorter and shorter in real distance the more and more south you go.
Amen. Pass the offered plates.
In the Gleason, it's the opposite. In the Gleason, it gets bigger and bigger. This isn't close. This isn't instrumental error. This is polar opposites. Okay, since Orion didn't want to answer it and Witsit wanted to jump in, you guys take as long as you need on flat Earth, in flat Earth. Keep pretending that the world's laid out as you think it is. Keep pretending there's an ice wall around the entire fucking world. There is no evidence of that. We're not measuring that. Nothing leads to that. It is what it is.
Yo, when you're done, could I say something real quick?
Don't
Right here,
interrupt
are
the
you done?
Reverend.
Oh, sweet. Like, all you did was like ad hom, bulldoze, straw man, flat Earth model, and I don't think flat Earth even has a model. So you're making a model for
You
it.
guys aren't truth seekers in this room.
And
You guys
then
Dude, you
spend
just
all
ranted. Why
day
are you
talking about
interrupting
Witsit.
him?
All right. King Kong, can you just chill out a little bit?
yeah, and then while you interrupt people constantly,
Okay.
you whine that you're getting
Hey,
interrupted.
I said what I said. Let me know when
And
you guys
you're
have
doing
evidence
it.
of this.
And I'm just gonna serve me real quick. You can't bulldoze ad nauseum, just vomit over, the chat, and then like when someone else is talking, you interrupt them and whine that you're getting interrupted. That makes no sense. Like you're not here to have a conversation. You're here to whine, to monologue. You can get your points across, but don't do the thing that you're complaining about.
I think what he was getting at was, well, maybe let me ask you, what's at this? I mean, do you still believe that Antarctica is the circumference or the ring around the world, or is it more likely to be a continent?
I don't know. You're asking me a most likely question, and then you actually said, "Do I still believe?" When I never claimed that the ice wall was
Okay,
for sure a
fair enough.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I've been very particular with how I've approached that whole conversation and topic since I first got into flat Earth, and especially first was making content. But notice how when I asked him to actually provide evidence of how that was supposedly measured, he freaked out into this whole like big emotional grandstanding monologue because he doesn't
Well,
know the answer and there is
like
no
it with
answer.
planes and boats, you said.
I said planes and
Okay,
boats. You don't know the answer, Witsit. You're the one that's unsure.
okay, that's not. No, I know. Okay, tell me how you use a boat to
I will
measure the
first
coastline
once you
distance.
accept you were
Go ahead.
lying. Once you correct your lie that you just gave on me, I will.
What? No, first of all, I wasn't.
Lies make people
You're
frustrated.
immediately interrupting me, dude. I have a child. I'm not gonna scream over you because you act like a child. Okay, so no, I didn't lie. I didn't hear you say that, so I was mistaken. I'm sorry. Lying requires intention. I didn't lie. I didn't hear you say it. Okay, now I asked you, okay, tell me exactly how you're going to use a boat to measure the distance of the coastline of Antarctica? Please enlighten me.
I think he should just stay muted for like 10 or 15 minutes. It's really not productive.
Why?
Hey,
Why? So you can go another day believing in falsehoods? Flat
can you
Wait,
answer my question?
did you ever see the stars there?
Witsit, I don't have a words to help a guy like you who's not a truth seeker. Okay, you.
I don't think people have to mute him. By the way, I mean it's up to you guys, but like I think it's
Yeah, I'm
super
just server
funny, and
muting
I
the
think
ad
it's
homs.
super.
There's a question on the table, right? You asked him a question. If you want to engage in good faith and keep the conversation flowing in a productive manner, go for it. But like, don't just come back like whining, ad homing. Like Joe Dubs doesn't do that. Joe Dubs talks like with respect. He answers questions. He tries to progress the conversation. You guys should just be reasonable. So if you're just gonna come back, I'm gonna unmute you. If you're gonna come back and just start ad homing, and it just like doesn't do anything, let's try to keep the conversation going.
Conversation can't go because you guys keep muting me. I'm gonna go on mute. I'm done with this convo. Good luck finding the truth, by the way. I know the
All
truth.
right,
You don't.
have a good one.
Good luck.
All right, bye.
See now
Preach,
he wants
Ethan.
to paint a narrative like he's a victim. When I
The,
very
the, the narrative
casually,
is I'm out with
you
it.
see what he's doing. You see, you can't. The reason people don't respect you, bro, is because you don't respect them. And when they try
I,
to
I
engage in a
respect you. I was the one
conversation with
backing
you,
you up yesterday with that
look at you're
Tarantino
interrupting
Canadian
me
girl.
again. You're interrupting me again. So that's not how you show someone respect. Like when they let you speak and then they go to address you, only a narcissist thinks that they can just talk right through everything they have to say immediately as if what the other person has to say is completely irrelevant. It's literally narcissistic, dude.
Witsit, when you're a man, you want to debate one-on-one, let me know. These guys are muting me. I can't speak with you. You're not a
I'm
truth
muting you.
seeker. It is what it is, but carry on another day. The world's AE, guys. Good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
see,
muting
Thank you
you
for
because
attending.
all you do is
there's no
interrupt,
way to
and
I
I don't
have
want
a
to be an
debate
insult.
with you
I can't
one
talk to
on
you
one.
guys. You guys mute me. You guys
Yeah,
mute
it's
me, and when
audio
I'm muted, you talk
chaos.
shit about me.
Yeah, it's
Get the
audio
toys
chaos.
and
What
go
you're doing
home.
every time someone's talking, you interrupt and you just start insulting. You're drooling at the mouth. If you want to address the points, address the points. But like, we can't have audio chaos. We want to have a productive conversation.
Yeah, like how can why would you claim that I'm scared to debate you one on one when every time I go to respond to you, 3 words in, you just start talking right through the middle of me screaming. That's not how you have a debate. That's not how you talk one on one. That's narcissistic.
Your
It's
judgment of the situation is irrelevant to me, Witsit. I'm not one of your worshippers. I actually
it's
consider
just
myself to
so
be superior
weird.
to you in terms of intelligence and IQ. Believe that.
Okay.
Dunning-Kruger. Dunning-Kruger.
Okay. And it's not about me, it's about the truth.
No, that's that. Look, it's just over. This is not a conversation. We need to move on.
Yeah,
That's that.
actually, please
That's that.
let's move on.
But I
If the
would like to make
mods,
the obvious point that IQ isn't dependent upon what people consider or I consider my IQ. That's not how that works, but yeah, that's unfortunate that the conversation was so unfruitful because I think there was the reason I engaged was a good point there, which is just so you know, you actually can't just go out and measure distances definitively using a boat or a plane. That isn't how that works at all.
Yeah, the answer is cartography, right? You have to have like legit people that are like a master at cartography.
The point trying to be made here, and it's a good point, is you can't measure distances with a plane or a boat. It's not accurate.
Yeah, but you can estimate how much gas you'll need, and if on the AE map, if the southern hemisphere is at least twice the distance, you're going to need twice as much gas and all these other things. There are a lot of problems with that. I think that's what he was getting at.
Yeah, but think about this, dude. When you look at the actual evidence of how long it takes, it actually does always seems to take way, way, way longer when they do that in the South. So then they have to actually give excuses as to why. And they claim that, oh, well, it's way more difficult for boats to go. That's why it takes 10 times longer in the South than the corresponding northern latitude. And oh, the planes never really do a full circle around it. It's too dangerous. They don't even claim planes have gone in a circle around it. They claim that boats have done it. and the boats actually do take a lot longer. So like they're like, look how much longer it is on the AE map. That would mean the boat would have to have way more. You said fuel, planes don't go in, so it doesn't matter. It would have to take way longer, right? If it was bigger, like the AE map suggests. But then the actual truth is that the boats do take way longer when they're out there. They literally do. And so what now? Well, now we'll just like I deflect or whatever. So I don't know. Like that's the reason some of us don't just outright dismiss the idea that Antarctica is way bigger than we've been told, is because we've actually researched that, right? And we found out, wait, the boats do take way longer out there. Like, why does the boat take so freaking long to go what should be a reasonably short distance in comparison?
Does that indicate that it could be the rim of the world or just bigger than we think? What do you think?
It could be either or. That's not mutually exclusive.
Can it not be the rim of the world because you were just down there and you saw the sun go in a circle above your head, which means that it can't be the rim of the world because it's just in your local spot there going in
No,
circles?
I mean, I don't agree with that just because I've seen a physical demonstration that shows a little apparent sun go the opposite way around a ring. And I don't even claim the ring. I've never claimed the ring. I mean, you may can find like a video from 5 years ago where I like speak about it.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
it can be
fine. I'm
interpreted.
asking you if that's still possible, like for Antarctica
Have
to be
you
the
seen
rim.
the little demonstration where the apparent sun goes the opposite way in a little circle along the rim?
Joe Hanby stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just
But
saying, I'm not claiming that it's happening, but I mean,
right.
a general
But
proof
I
of
would have I would
concept
have thought
is
that you would
there.
have ruled out the Antarctica is the circumference theory after going down there. But
No, I wouldn't rule it out. Like
you should.
I would say I'm more, well, that's your opinion though, but like
Yep.
your reasoning for it, right, was that it couldn't be the sun if it was the rim, and I just rebutted that directly, right? But it's all good. Like I would say that I am certainly much more open to the idea it's just a continent, and I don't think that's in any way exclusive to a globe, like in any way. And I've
It's
actually
not.
made that
Yeah, I
point
agree.
for a few years. That'd actually
Okay,
be a
for
great
evidence.
deception. That'd be a great deception for them to have pushed out that like quote unquote flat Earth model, claiming Antarctica was an ice ring, when in reality there's just a continent there, so that they could quote unquote debunk flat Earth if they ever then showed it was in fact a continent, when in reality, of course, continents can exist on a flat Earth as well. And that wouldn't prove anything. Certainly if you're navigating in relation to the coordinate system. Right. So you could actually even go over Antarctica, then go back to another southern continent on a flat Earth, similar to like a stereographic bipolar projection. When you just move away from the center, you just get two poles. If you were to follow those coordinate lines, then you would pop back up north as you go over it, and you could go from like, South America to Australia over Antarctica, and people would be like, "Oh, that proves flat Earth isn't true," when it actually doesn't. If you look at, say, like the bipolar projections.
Favorite
If they
evidence
just
you presented in the past is the time zones and the date line.
Yeah, and the time zones are super sus in the south. It's just a coincidence, I guess. There's way more in the south, and they hide them with islands and bodies of water where no one can go in the middle of the Southern Ocean, and that boats take way longer to travel there. And there's an endless amount of quote unquote coincidences that should be symmetrical. But like, this is what is funny. I mean, it's not really funny. It's just really pretty simple, right? And there's a group of people that view the way that they can determine the truth about this discussion one way, and then there's a group that's largely another way. And one way is, well, you have to have a map, you have to have like a model, right? And so your map has to explain where the sun is, and it has to explain where people travel on that map, right? So you have to have a map. And then there's another side who says, well, we're just going to physically test the surface itself and measure the surface, right? And we're just going to stick with what we can prove. So we physically measure the surface. It isn't comporting with the claim that it's curving at a specific rate. So that's been falsified. And if we've been misguided about the nature of the earth, it's extremely misguided and naive to think you should then have an accurate map. Whoever it is that propagated that deception would have to be extremely incompetent to give you access to a perfectly accurate map if their primary goal was to deceive you about the layout and nature of the earth in the first place. So they're just two different groups of people, like in a meta way, right? People that think you need a map, don't understand what maps are, what projections are, haven't looked into the history of it really. I mean, that the king gave a decree and said you had to just publish world maps within this specific coordinate system, nothing else is allowed, and that it's just a projection and you can make 1,000 different versions of it and it's not reality. And then there's a group that say screw a map, right? We're just trying to measure the surface itself. We want to get to physical empirical measurements and evidence. They're just two different approaches, right? I put a lot more weight in physical, empirical, independently verifiable measurements as opposed to like holistic earth claims and maps and like kind of objectifying the earth or making a model. Like I don't resonate with that at all. To me, that seems like in my opinion, like a kind of cog this way to avoid looking at the first thing, avoid not really dealing with the empirical measurements part by just kind of skipping over it and where's your map? I know that was a lot, but that's my opinion. There's no reason to like get real upset with each other or whatever. There are clearly just two different camps that view things differently and they put a lot of weight on different things. And there's obviously a group that thinks like having a map is a deal breaker. You must have a map. And then there's a group of us who think, no, that's wrong. And realistically, we wouldn't even have an accurate map if they lied about the earth.
What if they lied about Earth, but it's also not flat? Are you guys open to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to everything. I've been open to everything. I've looked at the concave idea. It has many of the same problems that the convex idea has. Um, so the empirical measurements show that like the land is a topographical plane, right? I mean, for example, there's a is it called Sora or something like that? LoRa, a radio transmission that is shot from like 6 feet above the water with a buoy that's just like 6 feet tall. They shoot a signal that's 915 megahertz, so way higher than what can bounce off of the ionosphere. So the ionosphere is supposed like 40 megahertz. Anything above 40 would penetrate it. We're talking about 915. It's not even close. And they shot this signal out over water. It should have been blocked according to the globe at like a handful of miles. And first attempt, it was successfully sent and received 830 miles away, like just horizontally over a body of water, 915 megahertz. It's like a little fishing boat and a 6 foot tall buoy. Like, I mean, that's a problem for a concave or convex assumption, right?
Yeah, there's also the X-band radar, which is line of sight. I think it's from 9 to 12 megahertz. And the one on the THAAD missile system has a range of about 2,000 miles. 2,000 miles forward looking. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do definitely get why people gravitate to concave because they're able, it's more satisfying in terms of like a model, meaning that it purports to provide many more answers in terms of a holistic model. And we've kind of been like engineered to want that, to expect that. and thus need to replace that. But I think that's the whole trick. It's like they're going to tell me that I'm looking back in time when I look at stars. They're actually not there, that the sun and stars are the same thing, that there's nothingness between me and it, and that something's 46 billion light years away. Billion light years, and 1 light year is 6 trillion miles, and that it's full of invisible dark matter and dark energy. And they can't even tell you what that supposedly is and have no evidence of it. And then I don't like the fact that that's all just ridiculous and not true and easily debunked. It doesn't mean I need to replace those claims because I don't know how far away the stars are. I don't know. Why would I claim how far away they are? I have no idea. No one can have any idea. No one knows. So it's a similar thing. It's like someone demanding I tell them how far away the stars are because they were given a story that claimed how far away the stars are. And no matter how ridiculous the story is, or just preposterous and nonsensical, somehow it's still true until I can replace their made up ridiculous answer. It's just like a deception. Like they just totally brainwashed us into thinking like that, you know. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. They have it in their minds that because they have a certain model, right? Even if it doesn't work, it's better than having no model and being in a state of, well, I just don't know this particular aspect of the realm, right? They'd rather have a story than go into a state of, look, I just don't know.
It's the same with a kid who's like never met his real parents. Whoever raised him, they're gonna call him mom or dad. You know what I mean? Even though it's not their mom or dad. That's just the nature of people.
Yeah. And like if you find out that they're your adopted parents, like naturally you're gonna want to know who your real parents are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna be like, okay, who are my real parents then? Right? I mean, someone had to make me, but it would be kind of ridiculous if while you didn't know who your real parents were, because obviously you do have real parents. They're somewhere. Like, there is a real answer to what the stars are and how far away they are, or whatever, or how far away the apparent thing that we call sun stars are, or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Like, it would be insane to say, well, I'm just going to keep believing my adopted parents are my real parents until someone else can tell me who they are.
Yo,
Yeah,
by the
it's
way,
even worse in a sense, right? Because your parents, your adopted parents, were actually real, right? It was a real people there, but the story that they've been sold, it's not even real, right? So in that sense, it's even worse than adopted parents. But yeah, I get what you guys are saying.
yo, I posted some verses regarding the circle of the earth, Isaiah 42, the firmament. There's even we're not secular, but there's just navigators, there's testimonies from navigators from 17, 18, different captains, all claiming that the southern oceans are way bigger than the global reckoning accounts, right? And yeah, they're off course 800 miles, 1,000 miles in some cases. Yeah, we're supposed to be symmetrical, and it's clearly not. So the guy was saying like, "Oh, you have no evidence," and like, dude, there's theological evidence, right? Justification. There's physical observations and testimony. It's anecdotal. I wasn't there. We have plenty of them of navigators that traveled the 7 seas, including Captain Cook, right? Warlaw Scott. There's a few other navigators that I could bring up. But yeah, go ahead.
We also have compass behavior, bro. How do compasses behave? And why do they not behave a certain way when they go to the south? So this is not just anecdotal stuff, right? This is actual, well, can we call it physical? I guess if you want to call magnetism physical. Use whatever
Yeah,
word you want, right? Yeah.
that's physical, just not material. Yo, I'll say line, but there being like a circle around us, or if there was like an enclosed limitation or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that Antarctica is that thing, right? Like there are many
Yeah,
options. There could be an icy continent with a ring around it. There could even be an ice ring around outside of the icy continent called Antarctica. Or, of course, the area that's referred to as Antarctica could be like an ice ring. But, you know, just one thing I've really realized with this whole thing is people should really just step back and we shouldn't fall for like false dichotomies and stuff like that.
yeah. I just, if
That's
you're a
my
believer,
position. That's actually my position.
all glory claims to be a Christian, like a lot of these other guys claim to be Christian. Slander, right? Like you were saying, they gossip, they're busybodies, character assassination, they bear false witness, they have envy, jealousy, and they just, I don't know, they don't know the word of God, bro. Like I got scripture talking about the firmament, literal physical structure, yet they're like, I don't know, bro, they're not receptive.
Yeah, I mean,
That line, bringing biblical scripture into conversations like this, bro, it doesn't really help. Like, sorry, man.
Yeah, to you, because you don't use theological justification. I do, and Witsit does. And so does the guy he was just debating. So to you it might not mean anything, but to us it does.
No, I don't mind it, bro. I'm just saying, like audience wise, right? Once you bring in like that,
I don't care about that.
yeah.
I'm not a people pleaser, bro. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not here to cater to the audience because I want to hurt a feeling. A lot of people, they're all like this girl yesterday. She says she holds no beliefs. Buried. There's a few in here that say they hold no belief, and I don't know if you're like that, but anybody that thinks that they hold no beliefs, they've deluded themselves. They're delusional.
Well, how could I form an opinion on something as great as the 24-hour sun when I haven't looked at all the evidence yet? If there's more evidence coming in, shouldn't I wait? And of course, I work and have a family, so it might take me 6 months longer than everyone else who maybe doesn't have a job and doesn't have a family. So is it okay if I reserve my opinion until I look at all the information?
well, I don't think anyone's like trying to force you to claim anything, I mean,
Right.
obviously,
I don't have a belief
you
yet.
don't necessarily have to, you don't have to necessarily like see all the evidence before you could know it was real though either, right? Like, yeah, like there's more evidence coming, but let's say that there was substantial evidence or sufficient evidence to prove it was real or that the trip was real, the observation was real. You wouldn't need to wait because there's another video coming out next week. Like, and I'm just making that point. It doesn't really follow, but it's whatever. Like, I have no problem with people even saying, like, I don't care what people think, really, right? Like, so I don't care if people are like, well, I didn't go down there. I can't personally verify it, so I just don't necessarily believe it or disbelieve it. I'm just gonna whatever. I can't know. People even like questioning it. Well, this seems weird. What's up with this? I mean, would someone know what happened here? But what I do have a problem with is people just lying and character assassinating people and slandering and just making up nonsense and making flat earth look really, really stupid with really easily debunked claims that haven't at all, that can be debunked with like 2 minutes of actual research, name calling and dividing people. And I have a problem with that. And then when the evidence is shown to those people that their claims or accusations are untrue, and they then intentionally choose to continue to say them anyway, right? Like that's the only group that I have a problem with. I don't care if people think I went or didn't go. Like it's just the people lying. I don't know. I just think that's such a bad look. Not even, and by the way, it's not even like a selfish thing. It's not like, oh, they're attacking me. Like, no, it's like it just makes flat earth look bad. It literally makes our community look so freaking bad, dude. Makes us look so bad. And then like, how are we going to turn around and then claim to be the group that diligently searched everything out? And we're the ones that get to the bottom of it. And we don't just blindly believe things. We search everything out, and we're really good researchers, and we have great pattern recognition and discernment. Let me show you about this giant deception. And then turn around and be like this side that just literally claims that because we didn't easily see footprints from 50 yards away on compact ice, that they couldn't have been in Antarctica. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You get it. Like, it just, like, it's sad because this is exactly what they needed to claim like a real victory. What they needed was the stereotype of flat earthers just hand wave dismissing evidence that they didn't want to be true or isn't particularly preferable, by calling it fake and gay, and then just personally attacking the individuals involved. It's like exactly what they wanted flat earthers to do. That's why most of the claims, okay, a lot of the claims of it being faked actually originated from Glober accounts. So just, I mean, if we all just let that soak in, think about how dumb it was to fall for that, to take the bait and run with that without doing your due diligence. You know?
Yeah, I was actually
Well,
thinking
let's not
that it was
conflate the two, right?
probably the
Let's
Globers that started that. I was
raise our
actually
hands
thinking it was
first.
probably.
You had to have known that that was coming, though. Even before you left, just by dealing with.
When you bank with Discover, you can earn cash back, 5 times more interest, and more. Because just like bond.